All right, rounding off the pod with a little golf, and the last major of the year is behind us. And our boy, Scotty Scheffler, in dominant fashion, taking the Open Championship in. I think we had a little discussion about this last week. It was Northern Ireland, and you thought it was in Scotland because it usually is. It usually is. So to defend Sam's point there, it usually is in Scotland, but this year it was in Northern Ireland. And the whole broadcast and every day was just hounding the fact that Rory lived an hour away. And I was just like, can we talk about somebody else, please? Can we please just show Scotty just absolutely blowing the field away? Because going into the championship Sunday, dude, wasn't even close. It got close near the end just because I feel like Scotty was playing more just maintain instead of but dude, making the turn after the first 9 holes, he was up by five or six strokes and just never looked back.
Birdies in a row there.
There was one moment where you were just he made double on, I can't remember what hole, but he made double, and everyone was like, is this it? And then he made the next 3 birdies
with a birdie. Yeah,
exactly. Followed up with a birdie. Just cold, calm, and collected Scotty Scheffler. Obviously, I'm getting one step closer to that Grand Slam. But Sammy boy, I'm assuming you watched this. What were your feelings watching this weekend and watching Scotty take it home?
Yeah, I watched a lot on Saturday. Missed most of his round on Sunday just because I was in church, but did see the last 8 or 9 holes or so. Obviously, super impressive. I think when I kind of knew that Scotty was probably going to win was after, I think it was day 2. I think he was leading. I think he was already -8, I want to say. And usually, in Scotty Scheffler wins, he usually doesn't do as good the first 2 days, and then the last 2 days is where he turns into Scotty Scheffler and just blows everybody out. But the fact that he was in first place after the second day, I was like, yeah, I don't think anybody's beating him. Just because, I mean, if he's already up then and he plays his best golf on Saturday and Sunday, no one's going to catch him.
Right.
And sure enough, going into Sunday, I think he had a 5-shot lead going in, so it was just kind of a containing thing, like you were saying. He did have a double bogey, but like you were saying, just he followed it up with several birdies, so he wasn't sweating it by the end, and he's just had some really good shots that I thought were really impressive on the day. So but yeah, I am really glad that Rory lost. I thought everybody was hyping it up way too much, as they usually do.
Dude, so much,
bro. I don't mean to come off as a Rory hater, because I am, but why do people love this guy so much? I understand he won the career Grand Slam or whatever last in the Masters, but before that, bro, he hadn't won in 10 years. A freaking major in 10 years. I don't understand the hype around this guy every time. Literally, Scotty Scheffler is 1 major away from tying Rory for total majors. And Scotty's been on the tour 3 years? So but no, it was great to see Scotty win the Open. Obviously, his comments before and after about, I just love that he was just yeah, this isn't my favorite thing. This isn't the thing that fulfills me the most, and just goes out there and destroys everybody.
Right.
I absolutely love to see that. Obviously, all the stuff afterwards with him hugging his wife and all the son videos and pictures and stuff is obviously super special and stuff too. So couldn't happen to a better guy. So love to see it.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to touch on that because we had it in the doc last week, but we were running really, really late, so we ended up not talking about it. So we could probably talk about it a little bit now, just because we are both Christians, and just from what Scotty said and just how open he is, he professes to be a Christian as well, and just his comments leading up to the tournament were so great. I think I sent it to a bunch of people because I was just this guy's at the top of the world and he gets it. And I think the biggest comment that he made that especially hit me was, he was just the day that I'm a bad father, this game's making me a bad father, is the last day I play golf. How his everything isn't the fact that he's on top of the world. He's ranked number 1 in the world, the pinnacle of the sport that he loves to play. Yet he finds his identity and his purpose in other things like his family. And I know he didn't say it explicitly, but he finds his identity in Jesus and just being a Christian.
That's what I was going to say. He didn't say it explicitly there, but he kind of implied it.
He definitely implied it. And I know you don't watch as much YouTube golf as I do, but he played around with one of my favorite YouTube golfers, and they actually talked about that. And he was just yeah, it's everything to me. That's what keeps me grounded. That's what keeps me from getting too high, too low. And then on top of that, he knows that he wouldn't be there if it wasn't for God just blessing him with the ability to do it. And then obviously, you got to take that talent that God's given you and work hard. But at the end of the day, God allows you to have the life that you have. And whether you're like us trying to make it big or you are making it big, keeping it focused on him is the main thing. I don't know if you have any more to say about that, but I just wanted to kind of touch on that since, we like to wear that on our sleeves.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it makes him a lot more likable, at least in my eyes. I think, before I've kind of gotten on this golf kick the last 2 years, like I kind of always, I would see little blurbs about him, like before he even like got big, big, big where he is now. And it was obviously all good stuff that you want to hear, about his faith and about his family and stuff. The one that kind of made the rounds was, I think it was probably 2 years ago now, before maybe one of the Masters. I mean, he said something similar to what he said before this last press conference. He was like, I think it was when he was his daughter. Wow, his wife was expecting their son, and it was like around the Masters or maybe something like that. And she was about to give birth, and people were asking him about it. I was like, what happens if she goes into labor? He's like, I'm leaving the golf course. Like, I'll have no choice. Like, I don't care. And I obviously made the rounds. So before I even knew that Scotty Scheffler was necessarily like the number one golfer, is going to be one of the greatest of our generation. I liked him. Like, if you asked me what golfer I liked, it was like Scheffler and Fowler kind of thing. But it's cool, super cool to see him kind of follow up on that too. Like, it's kind of funny to see some of the other reactions around too. Like, some of the reporters didn't really know how to take him, and it kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. It's like, oh, people work their whole lives to get into the position that you are, and they never get there. You're taking it for granted or whatever. And it's usually just the short-sighted people, or the people that maybe don't necessarily have the perspective that Scotty has with his faith in his family, that don't have that, and they're just like, everything's about the sport, the sport, the sport, and then like they don't have anything to be like, oh, well, maybe the pinnacle of golf isn't necessarily what, the best thing in life. So obviously, it's super cool to hear him say that and stuff, and you just root for the guy even more when he has comments like that. He's also a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I love to hear that as well. So.
Yeah, you wanna take that away? He had some comments on the Cowboys this past week.
Yeah, I saw something this morning. Apparently, he said that he would absolutely trade one of his majors for a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl victory to end that drought. Gotta love the guy. I mean, what more can you ask, as far as I'm concerned, for a golfer?